Welcome back to the Metro on WDET. I'm Robin Vincent.
And I'm Tia Graham, and we're celebrating a belated Valentine's Day today. Why? Bringing you a conversation with some people we love, the Detroit Documenters.
Aww.
They train and pay residents to cover local government meetings in Southeast Michigan, improving our access to public information. They've been appearing on the Metro every Friday, but you'll now be able to hear conversations with producer Jack Philbrandt and the Detroit Documenters every Monday. Jack's also a Detroit documenter himself, covering many Detroit water and sewer-rich department meetings, helping documenters navigate Detroit transit and enjoy the parks.
That's right, Tia. Every Monday, Jack will recap what's going on at many public meetings in and around Detroit where things can tend to get a little spicy. Today, we bring you a conversation with Detroit documenter Madiline Beck and coordinator Noah Kincade on a potential cigar lounge coming to the Detroit Metro Airport. The cigar lounge will also not be hard to miss. It would be located just past security at the McNamara Terminal between gates A43 and A45. And to many, this is a drag. And we're going to inhale some info and find out why. Noah started the conversation explaining the role of the Wayne County Airport Authority.
The Wayne County Airport Authority they are the body that is in charge of and manages, operates both the Detroit Metro Airport, DTW, and Willow Run.
What kinds of decisions are made by the Airport Authority?
Yeah, I love that you're asking me this because their website has what I think is one of the most comprehensive descriptions of what they do of like any agency we've ever covered. And so I had to write this down, actually. They say their decision-making process includes the power to plan, promote, extend, maintain, acquire, purchase, construct, improve, repair, enlarge, and operate both airports.
Oh, wow. That is like very, very specific, but also very vague to me, too. It's like, right. This is a list of everything that this airport authority has the power to do.
Which is basically everything.
Yeah, that is so interesting. Madiline, we're discussing today a cigar lounge that is potentially planned for the Detroit Metro Airport. How did this conversation kick off at the February 6th Wayne County Commission meeting?
Yeah, so it definitely wasn't planned. They brought in a representative from the American Heart Association. Her name was Alyn Bowles-Dukes. And she was basically talking about Wear Red Day. She was also talking about how important heart health is. She asked the commissioners to kind of pass this information along to their constituents. And the commission also kind of created a resolution to create a Wear Red Day in Wayne County. Then towards the end of the presentation, Dukes mentioned this idea of the cigar bar basically being proposed. And she made sure to mention that the American Heart Association takes a really firm stance against the cigar bar because of the concerns there about, second and third hand smoke and just all of the things with cigars and smoke that would be contradictory to heart health. So this mention of the cigar bar kind of got the commission in this whole back and forth talking about their concerns, how long has this proposal been in the air, how many people knew about it, all those sorts of things. Commissioner Clark Coleman is the commissioner assigned to the Wayne County Airport Authority, and she also mentioned that she had heard rumblings of it, but she hadn't really been super involved in that whole process and wasn't sure where it was going. So, yeah, it definitely seemed like some of the commissioners were a little bit surprised, but also definitely concerned, and they wanted to discuss it more.
We have a clip from Wayne County Commissioner Irma Clark Coleman. She also sits on the Wayne County Airport Authority talking at the February 6th Wayne County Commission meeting.
For people who stop at our airport and frequent the cigar bar, and then they are exposed, their clothes, everything that is on them will be exposed to that secondhand smoke. Then they will get on the airplane and they will take those odors and expose people who are on the planes. And so for that reason, I think that it's unfair to the people who are subjected to secondhand smoke without their permission.
Madiline, can you talk about the concerns of secondhand smoke and even thirdhand smoke? What is thirdhand smoke?
Yeah, so I guess I'll start with secondhand smoke, which is the thing that the commissioners mentioned most. There is a lot of concern over the ventilation and how are they going to keep this place kind of like up to health code. Obviously, secondhand smoke is just the smell of smoke kind of emanating from places. So they weren't sure if this was going to be a concern, especially in the airport, which is a place, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of kids, a lot of older people, a lot of people with health risks even. And so I think that was definitely a concern for them. There was also a mention when they were talking about secondhand smoke of this cigar bar, possibly maybe being a concern that it would reverse some of the Michigan indoor smoking law, which went into effect in 2010. That law basically bans smoking in restaurants and most workplaces. Third-hand smoke is a little bit different than second-hand smoke. It's basically where there is a residue left behind from cigarettes, cigars, anything that, is a tobacco product. It gets into clothes, it gets into furniture. And so this would be a big concern because people who are in the cigar bar, if that were to get into their clothes or into their hair, and then they're going to be, in the airport and on the airplanes, I think that was definitely a huge concern for the commissioners, that they didn't want this their second and third hand smoke to be lingering and going into other parts of the airport. There was also a big concern for children, again, people with health concerns, pregnant women, because all those people frequent the airport and would be at high risk for that.
You're listening to The Metro, and we're speaking with Detroit documenter Madiline Beck and coordinator Noah Kincade on a potential cigar lounge coming to the Detroit Metro Airport. There's 4 smoking lounges left in airports across the country, and in about 2018, before I was a Detroit documenter and when I was still a smoker, I sat in the smoking lounge at Dulles Airport in Washington, D.C., and it is not the most inviting place. It was closed in 2023, and it's like the kind of place where if you enter it, you're going to smell like a cigarette. What has the Wayne County Airport Authority been saying about this cigar lounge, Noah?
Nothing. The board of directors who we cover, on occasion, we pop in on their meetings and document them a couple times a year. They, to our knowledge, haven't said a word about this. All of the information that we know about it has come from Miss Alyn Boyles-Dukes. Now, she first showed up at an airport authority meeting back on October 30th. And in public comments, she and another individual both showed up to speak against this. So we know this has been at least in the works since October. And that was the first time we learned about it. But even at that meeting, board members reminded the audience that they don't reply or comment on, in reply to public comments. So they were like, and we're going to say nothing about it. Like, they reminded us of that. And we haven't heard anything about it until last week at the full commission of Wayne County, the Wayne County Commission, when, again, Ms. Boyles-Dukes showed up and reminded us and reminded everyone that this is, this is what's happening. So, basically all we know we've heard from her and not from the airport authority and not from any of the Wayne County commissioners. So some of the things that we did learn at the last full commission meeting that we covered for Wayne County is that the airport authority is going to be issuing an RFP. So that's a request for proposal for this any day now. We have looked online and we haven't found it yet. But the way that they do these is they tend to issue kind of a package of RFPs. So it's like a bunch of different contracts that they all kind of put into a package. And Ms. Boyles-Dukes explained that, the problem is that by the time these packages get to the board for approval, it's just an up or down vote, right? They can't strip one part of it out. And at this point, it was pretty interesting. Commissioner Kinloch, Jonathan Kinloch, kind of stepped in and started asking some questions of Irma Clark Coleman, who sits on the board at the airport authority. And he said, is this a board? Does the board have the authority to issue these RFPs? And the response from Boyles-Dukes was that no, this is something the CEO basically has the authority of. So CEO Chad Newton can approve these RFPs and put them out. And the board doesn't sound like they have much say in like what goes into those. The other thing that we learned is that back in December, the airport authority had an informational meeting where a bunch of people showed up and were informed about these coming requests for proposals, and all these contractors showed up to get information to see if they wanted to bid. And Ms. Bowles-Dukes went to that meeting and said there were 14 different cigar businesses that were there getting information about how they could submit a bid to open this cigar lounge. So that's what we know. But again, none of that has come from the airport authority.
Yeah, it seems like this, well, not much has come from it. It is like moving forward pretty rapidly.
Yeah, it seems that way. I mean, I followed some of the other informational meetings that I could find on BidNet, which is like their marketplace where they post these bids. It does seem that that's the case. Like they have these informational meetings, and then, within a month or two, they post the RFPs online.
Noah, how can people get involved and give their feedback? It sounds like this is going to come up again at the February 19th Wayne County Airport Authority meeting.
Yeah, it is. And that's exactly right. People can show up if you have strong feelings about this, for or against. You can show up to that meeting and give public comment and let them know. We do know Irma Clark Coleman said that she was going to bring this up at that meeting. She's not in favor. So hopefully it will actually finally get discussed at an airport authority meeting. And so we hope to learn more then. And of course, Ms. Dukes was encouraging people who are opposed to this to show up and give public comment.
Noah, what else is Documenters covering this week?
Oh my God, so much. It's a really busy week for us. Okay, so there's two agencies that we've never covered before that we're hoping to learn more about this week, and that's the Detroit Entertainment Commission and the Detroit Industry Standards Board, which is an advocacy board that exists to promote the well-being of arena workers, sports arena workers, the businesses who employ those people and who have those contracts doing vending, janitorial, anyone who works in the sports arenas. Very interesting stuff. We're also going to dip in on the Wayne County Ethics Board. Of course, we'll be at the Airport Authority meeting. We'll be at the Belle Isle Park Advisory Committee. And then we will be at the MDOT Virtual Open House. So MDOT is going to present their plans and thinking for a complete redesign or reworking of Woodward Avenue all the way from downtown Detroit to Pontiac, Michigan. So we're excited to learn more about what that's going to be and what the timeline is. And then on top of all that, we're going to be at all of our regular weekly meetings we cover, which is the Detroit City Council formal session, the Highland Park City Council, and the Detroit Board of Police Commissioners.
That was producer Jack Philbrandt talking to Detroit documenter Madiline Beck and coordinator Noah Kincade about a potential cigar lounge coming to the Detroit Metro Airport. The next Wayne County Airport Authority meeting is on February 19th, and you can hear the Detroit documenters on the Metro every single Monday.
From the WDET newsroom, several streets are underwater this morning in southwest Detroit due to a water main break in the area of North Green and Rowan Street. The water is almost reaching the top of people's vehicles. It's making its way into basements, with some homeowners waking up to several feet of water. First responders have been helping trapped residents, including a person who was stuck on the roof of a vehicle that was almost completely submerged. A city bus is being used as a warming center for rescued residents. Just before 9 a.m., the Great Lakes Water Authority said it was working to isolate a break in a 54-inch water main.
And that's to couple with cold temperatures, which are back with overnight lows in the single digits. The city of Detroit has more than 1,400 beds for people who need shelter from the Arctic cold. Individuals, families, and young people seeking placement in a shelter or warming center can call the Housing Resources Hotline at 866-313-2520. As well, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services has confirmed the first 2 influenza-associated pediatric deaths in the state. 2 children from Wayne and Genesee counties contracted seasonal influenza A. Joel Coyle is a state epidemiologist. He says the flu is going to impact those who don't have the most robust immune system. Rates of flu infection are the highest they have been in Michigan over the last 15 years, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Nearly 10,000 flu-related hospitalizations have been reported in Michigan so far.
Coming up at 11, does it seem like snow days are called too easily? We want to hear from you, 313-577-1019, as we look at snow days of the past and present. Up next, libraries across the country offer a lot more than books. They're community resources and free speech defenders. Coming up, we'll chat with Jeff Milo of WDET about what's happening at the Ferndale Public Library. This is The Metro. Stay with us.